or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world and what time zone you're in. I have just had a talk with someone that I thought was very interesting. This person is a person who has a very different view of life. And the reason why, it's because they're not really completely plugged into the matrix the way we are. If you're watching this video, you're plugged into the matrix. If you have a cell phone, you're plugged into the matrix. If you have a television, you're plugged into the matrix. This individual has a very different view of being positive or avoiding the uncomfortable or negative, as it were. And that got me thinking about how often not by the people that I love that are like my best friends or my very close friends, not them, but people that I don't know very well. Like if I start talking, like a perfect example, I was visiting our adoptive family member. I don't know what I would categorize him as. Family member, because we go visit him regularly. And someone was sitting with us, and we started talking about politics or life, reality, facts, things that are coming up, things that are happening. We were talking about there's that hole. It's the landmark. Ooh, Jesus. Yeah, come on. I'm trying. Didn't want to be slow, but there's construction everywhere. You gotta get in. Anyway, and we were just talking about, like I said, just politics, everyday things that are happening. We started talking about, because this is before the strike on Iran happened, but everything was leading up to it. There was all this rhetoric about it, and we just started talking, and the person that was with us said, "Oh, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about positive things." Okay. The amount of times that I have heard that in my life, it's unnerving. So the opposite, when the opposite happens, when, let's say, I try to be as positive as I can be within reason, based on the information I think I know. Because the truth is I don't know if any of the information that I know is actual, factual, and reasonably true. But based on what I've been able to see, cross-reference, I've been able to confirm that a lot of the things that I believe to be true are true. Like, for example, in Operation C, I knew no one that was deleted during that time. No one, absolutely no one. And I don't know anyone that knew anyone officially that had been deleted as a result of Operation C. But based on my own skin, based on my own experience in my own life, what I can actually observe, not, oh, the world is round because I saw a picture experience, but people that I know, who I know people that know those people have either perished, have gotten somehow disabled, they can't find the cause of it. The change in people since Operation C's mandates came out. So, if you're grasping what I'm saying is I try to not discredit any information that comes my way, but I try to see if I can actually observe the information, and what my observance or the observation of the whole operation is the actual medicine was much more devastating to us as a human race, pardon me, or as humanity, than the actual sickness itself. So if I were to basically sort of look at my life, what happened with the friend of Herbie's is that she was very much the let's not look at the negative side of things. The whole propaganda and brainwashing of it all, it gets to me because, like I said, I just ran into a gentleman who is not, let's be positive, let's not look at the negative. He's just like, this is how it is, and there really isn't much more to say. This is how it is. You either accept it or you don't, but if you accept it, you can prepare as much as you can. If you accept it, you can decide how you're going to respond. And if you accept it, you are much better off than the people that don't know anything about it because they refuse to look at it. And that is my point exactly. For me, there's two types of people in this world. There's the type of people that cannot handle the truth simply because it will take away from their life. They will not be able to function because they do not do well with bad news. They will get stressed, they will get sick, and they will just it'll be self-inflicting harm. And I would say that they got us to this point. We weren't like this 100 years ago. 100 years ago, most people can take facts as facts, and most people could deal with whatever came at them for the most part. Sure, sometimes there was a devastating event that someone got broken over and it never healed them. They never got back to their normal sort of center. That happens. That's life. Like if someone gets brutally deleted in front of you, it's very difficult to get sort of up from that if you're not a psychopath, that is. Because if you're a psychopath, that might actually turn you on and you want more of that. But in a normal human state where it's just a normal sheeple that doesn't have any power, that's a normal person that just wants to live out their life, doesn't want, any more power than anybody else, just, that is hard to get up at any point. But I'm talking about right now, society, there's two types of people, and they made one type of people. There's a type of people that are wanting, looking, trying to find, information to find out how did we get here, who got us here, where are we going, and why. And then there is people that are like, don't tell me, I don't want to look at the negative. I know that some parts are like negative, but I don't want to look at them. I don't want to know because I'll just be stressed and I won't be able to, deal with it, and then it'll just be not good. There are more people in that camp where they cannot handle, do not want, they literally want to be ignorant. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is where they want to keep themselves at, because the alternative is that they would have to actually contemplate on what they want to do moving forward if they knew the information that they should know. It's almost as if, do you want to find out that you're sick and there are options? Or do you want to find out that everything is okay, you're just not feeling well until you die? Like, this is really the option. So in the end, it's so funny because most people, it's oxymoronic actually, because most people want to know if they're sick so that they can try to save themselves. But most people also simultaneously don't want to know who the people above us, not, I don't mean God, but I mean the people that run this world, how they are actually actively, meticulously, and silently deleting us increment by increment until we perish, until we get a cancer, until we get a heart or heart attack or stroke. These are all things that, yes, while some of them are old age and some of them are wear and tear, a large majority, based on what's been coming out, especially recently, even with Kennedy coming out with, right now, everybody is learning that seed oils are deadly. And actually, all pills are basically, primarily, the foundation of all medication is petroleum. Petroleum. How do you think that helps our body? It doesn't. It helps somebody's pocketbook. And so it's so shocking when all of a sudden you have somebody behave like, oh, I don't want to look at, I know, and they like dive into facts, dive into the reality as it is, and it doesn't call you a fearmonger, it doesn't call you negative. The amount of times I have been called negative, it's funny. I guess you do get used to it because it doesn't faze me anymore. It's like if somebody were to call me racist, I would have to laugh. I would have to laugh because it's like I grew up in Canada where my next door neighbor was Indian and she was one of my very closest people, and the other one was Hungarian, and my mom lived beside a German. And I mean, the amount of people of varying cultures and nationalities that I'm used to being around, and I don't look at them as cultures, I look at them as human beings. And if you're an asshole, it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what culture you hide behind, you're just an asshole. You're not a brown asshole or a white asshole or a black asshole or whatever other color there are. You're just an asshole, first and foremost. And it doesn't matter what culture you try to hide behind. So, you know, this is going to be the death of the West. Because in the Middle East, and I would say even in large parts of Africa, there's no such thing as, oh, I don't want to hear that because it's negative. What? Even in like India, like what? It's negative? Shut up. Who cares? Listen, if you don't believe or agree, that's fine. But don't switch me off because it seems negative. I digress. So I just wanted to say it was a breath of fresh air to actually speak to someone that didn't like get agitated with anything I was saying, and oh, you know, I don't, or the more polite ways, oh yeah, you know what, I don't know anything about that, I don't get myself involved in that. But if I ask them if they watch soccer, hockey, baseball, football, basketball, guaranteed they're into that. A hopeless, useless waste of time they're into. So if you're in the Matrix and you're donating your time to useless, hopeless, and absolutely destructive behavior, and then someone comes along and gives you information that would force you to have to think about your position on that said whatever, and you just recoil from fear of even so much as to think about it, consider it, contemplate it. Where are we going in this country? We are at the point of bread and circus. You know that time when we watched The Gladiator? You know, everybody likes to watch The Gladiator, but nobody wants to acknowledge that we are in it, just in a different time. Okay? We don't have the Coliseum, but we do. It's called a sports arena. It's called the Sky Dome. It's called any sports arena that you see a football game in. Okay? Any ice rink that you see a hockey game played at. We don't have a Caesar, but we do. We do. We have Trudeau and Carney, and they're not even as highly regarded or highly up there as the Caesar was, because Caesar came out. The people that run us do not come out. We don't know who they are. We only see their bitches, which is the Trudeau, the Carney, the Trump. That's what we see. We see only the show. And the show must go on. And the show must be perfectly situated so that you buy every single scene. When you watch a movie, when there's so much as a feather on a table or on the floor or a crumb on the table, that is there by design. The crumb didn't just fall and haphazardly end up in the scene. That is orchestrated. It is finessed. It is perfectly thought about and perfectly set up for you to take it in subconsciously or consciously. And if you don't notice it, that's the point. There was a saying that the Oracle said to Neo at one point, The Matrix, best documentary anyone should watch. She says everything, we are here to do what we are here to do. And she's talking about the system. She's talking about the programs. And she says, when we don't do what we're supposed to do, you've heard about it. And Neo says, no, I haven't heard about it. And she says, of course you have. If you heard about a ghost, or if you've heard about a haunting, or if you've heard about, and then she gives examples. When things don't go according to plan, that's when we start taking notice. And that's true in life. That's true in life. So the next time that someone tells you something that repels you, try to resist letting it repel you. See if you can strengthen yourself by allowing that information to come in, digesting it, and seeing what your opinion about it is outside of outright rejection. Because outright rejection means you haven't digested it, means you haven't thought it through, means you have not accepted someone else's information just so that you can digest it and you can retort with what you think logically you don't agree with because of whatever reason. And you have a right to disagree. You have a right to not agree with anyone you don't want to agree with. But don't be like one of my friends that I had. I asked her, I said, well, what? She's like, you believe what you believe and I believe what I believe. I said, okay, but do you not agree that belief should have some root in fact? Because fact actually helps actually ground a belief. If you believe in Santa Claus, do you have any grounds to believe that Santa Claus exists? Have you seen him come down your chimney? I mean, beliefs can be anything. People believe in God. People believe in Allah. People believe in that God that's an elephant head. Did they exist? Not necessarily. Maybe. But but they might just be stories to teach us, the human beings, of something that we need to keep in mind. Anyway, I was just shocked and pleasantly surprised when this individual was so awesome. Like, if we just had more people that were willing to sort of just look at people's opinions and consider them and come back with information that is equally challenging or riveting to review or whatever, like, you know, something that's equally thought-provoking, we would be in a different place, don't you think? Because most people are driving blind and they think they see the panoramic view, but really they're driving with their goggles, you know, those virtual reality goggles, and we're heading for the damn wall, and those are the people driving. So next time somebody says something that offends you or something that you just can't look at, give it a try. Consider it. Consider what they said. Look into it honestly and see if you're strong enough within yourself to be able to digest it and not reject it without even considering it. Anyway, that was my thought of the day. A little thorny, but sometimes I hate tulip thoughts because it's like I feel so soft. Just kidding. Anyway, if this makes you think, or if you agree or disagree, let me know. Like and subscribe, and of course, if you're ever looking for good quality finds, check me out on Retro Repeats on Poshmark. And until then, I'm back at home and I gotta feed my girls. All right. Mwah.